As with everything, there has to be consultation. There has to be consultation. And that is one thing that we have had to be forced to go without over the last 16 years, because only one person was making all the decisions, or two people were making the decisions. I'll explain about Standing Order 51 in a minute. But with the GCC, with any other changes that affect everybody, we have to consult. We really have to consult. We have to consult widely. Okay, Standing Order 51, I think I might just talk about Standing Order 51. You know, you've heard about the opposition talking about Standing Order 51 being used constantly to change laws, to spring new laws upon us. When a new law is being proposed, there's supposed to be 1, 2, 3 readings before we vote in Parliament. Standing Order 51, so what happens is a law or a bill is being proposed, and what happens is there's the first reading in Parliament. So the proposer reads what the changes that they want to see. And then it is taken to a standing committee. The standing committee is made up of MPs from both sides of the House. Their job is to then consult with stakeholders. They will go out, they will invite stakeholders, come and talk to us. What do you think about this issue? Case in point was the police bill that came through that then got stopped midway. Consultation means that the standing committee travels around Fiji asking you, asking experts, asking stakeholders, what do you think of this law? And then it's brought back into Parliament. The standing committee does its report. There's a second reading, and then there's the final reading, because now we've gotten your opinions. If the law was passed the normal way. Standing Order 51 is supposed to be used only in very dire circumstances, when we don't have time. Say there was a huge natural disaster and money had to be taken overnight from the Treasury to deal with the aftermath and to help people. That's where you bring in Standing Order 51. Unfortunately, many of the laws that have been passed in the last 4 years since I've been in Parliament have come through Standing Order 51. No chance for us as MPs of the opposition to have a read of it properly, to then think about how it impacts who the law affects. So we have seen bills being proposed on a Tuesday to be debated and voted upon on Thursday. How are you supposed to know how this new law is going to affect you if we don't even understand them? Sometimes the bill is proposed at 10 o'clock at night, and we have to be sent home, have a read of it, try and send it to people in the know to think of the impacts that it will have on not only Parliament but also Fiji. So to come back to your question, sir, it will take consultation. Nabitala no, medandame nabitala no taka. Ebi nakambeka se senga. Nathaba no menina numa. Nathaba no menina numa ke menina na matabewa kaningo. That has not been happening. Baleteni sando tukuni ngabango, bisolo kango, lako na labilinga. The Constitution as it stands right now, the 2013 Constitution as it stands, says to make any amendments to the Constitution, 75% of all sitting members of Parliament have to, first of all, agree. If they agree, then we have a referendum with 75%, we have a referendum with all registered voters. And if 75% of registered voters agree, then there can be an amendment. So it's not impossible, but it can be very difficult. But it is the supreme law of the country.
Second is supreme law, it's the supreme fraud. Manunggu rayo na leo ni vadonga erau ni takam do nakaka sini pulai no constitution. Ke makake mamikaya zakango o deita del rentaro. Singing do na lawa rentaro na kaya ravino kata ni leo. That's the wish of the people. na leo ni vronga ro ni kalawada na constitution ro to ngan kalawada na parliament ko longa
Tinda ka pakalibu. Tinda ka pakalibu. And as our friend has said very clearly, it is the will of the people. And may I just remind us all again, the will of the people will be heard on December the 14th. Yep. The will of the people will be heard, will be felt on December the 14th. And I feel that we are at a crunch time right now for Fiji. We are at a crunch time. Because if Standing Order 51 keeps being abused in Parliament, who knows what other laws are going to be brought in by this government? Very soon we will be arrested if we criticize the government. You know, do you want that? You know, as it is, members of the media, and some of them are sitting here today from both sides, in fact, have already started to feel the pressure. And do you want one day to suddenly wake up and find that under Standing Order 51, it is now illegal for the media? The media's job is to keep the people informed, to keep the government accountable, and all of a sudden, just say, a new law is brought upon us which makes criticizing the government through the media illegal. So ladies and gentlemen, I just want to remind you again, every 4 years, it's a time when the government's contract is up for renewal. Just as those of you who are working, those of you who are employees know that your contract lasts so long. Every 4 years, again, you as the boss, call your employee, government, into your office, and you go through the KPIs. And you say, actually, you know, you did a pretty good job here. You did a pretty good job here, but you really stuffed up here. You really stuffed up here despite us giving you chances, despite us telling you that we wanted something different. So I'm really sorry, but we're not renewing your contract. That is what's going to happen on December 14th.